Thank you for tuning in to this week's Greek News. Here to start us off is an Olympic champion here for his interview. Can you tell us about the event that you participate in?
Yes, it's called the Pygmatia. It's a strength test. What we do is that we test their strength, and whoever fails the first, or whoever stays on the bar the most wins.
Thank you. Can you tell us a little bit about where the Olympics take place?
Yes, it was started it's in Olympia. Excuse me. It's in Olympia, and that's where the Olympics are.
Thank you. Can you give us a name for us to pull for you at the event?
His name is Jackson.
Thank you so much. Now it's time for Emma to tell us a little bit about what's going on in the new Trojan War.
Thank you, Catherine. This is Emma Stewart reporting on the recently ended Trojan War. The Trojan War was a 10-year conflict fought between Greece and Troy. The war was most likely caused by economic competition, but Greek mythology tells us a different story. According to sources such as the Iliad and the Odyssey, both written by Homer, Paris, a prince of Troy, was gifted an apple by Eris, a Greek deity of strife. Paris was supposed to give the apple to the fairest goddess, his options being Hera, Aphrodite, and Athena. Paris chose Aphrodite, and she promised him that the most beautiful woman in the world would fall in love with him. Helen, the wife of Menelaus of Sparta, was widely regarded as the most beautiful woman in the world at this time. After meeting Paris, Helen ran away with him to Troy. This angered the Spartans. Since this issue concerned all of Greece, a force was gathered and Troy was attacked. This army contained legendary heroes such as Odysseus. The war ended when the Greeks pretended to retreat and left a wooden horse at Troy's gates as a peace offering. Little did the Trojans know, there was a group of Greek soldiers concealed inside of this horse. That night, the Greek soldiers climbed out of the horse and opened the gates for more soldiers, who overran the city of Troy. That's all for now. For more information, check out the Iliad and the Odyssey, both by Homer. Next, we have Chris Parker reporting on the architecture of Greece.
So right now I'll be doing an interactive tour of Greek architecture. Now first, let me give you some background info. There are 3 styles of Greek architecture. Doric is the most simple and is the first style of the columns. Has the thickest width of them and has a simple capital. And a capital is a design at the top of a column which makes it either decorative or just for industrial purposes. Ionic is thinner than the Doric columns and had scrolls on top of the capital, which was more for decorative purposes and came after Doric columns. Corinthian was the most decorative of all 3 columns, was influenced by the Romans, and was popular later in Greece. With that background information out of the way, I'm going to be showing you 3 famous Greek buildings from Greek architecture. First building that I will be talking about is the Parthenon. Now, the Parthenon uses Doric styles and Ionic styles to Greek architecture. The Doric style columns complement the Ionic style building structure. Considered as the most significant surviving building of ancient Greece, the Parthenon is said to be the pinnacle of the Doric order. Next is the Great Theater of Epidaurus. The Great Theater of Epidaurus is regarded as the best preserved ancient theater in Greece in terms of perfect acoustics and fine structure. The Great Theater of Epidaurus was built in the Doric style of architecture, meaning it was very simple when it was built. Finally is the Temple of Artemis. The Temple of Artemis's architecture is believed to be decorated according to the remnants of Achilles and Memnon that were a part of an excavated ancient ruins. A milestone in Greek architecture, the temple is listed among 150 great works of Western architecture, which also include the Parthenon and the Epidaurus Theater. Up next, we have Mallory with an interview of culture and jobs.
Today I'm here with Layla, a citizen from ancient Greece. What are some specifics you can tell us about your culture?
Well, a major part of our culture is art. We celebrate art by holding big festivals. We mostly build temples to show appreciation for our gods. Even build sculptures to those who we call brave heroes. Majority of our society makes a living by farming, and as for children, they spend most of their time with us, the mothers, playing games or with toys.
What are some of the jobs women have?
Most women stay home and care for the children and prepare meals for the family.
What kind of work do men do?
Men had jobs from like farming, fishermen, government worker, and also lots have to go and become soldiers.
What are some things you do to stay entertained?
Well, majority of women stay occupied with making art, like either weaving or spinning. As for men, most of them entertain themselves by going to the theater.
Hello everyone tuning in for Greek News. I am Scott Jones reporting live from the voting polls in Greece. Voting Day is an important event to Greeks because it determines all of their upcoming laws. Everyone voting here today is a Greek citizen, meaning they are men who have completed their military training. Women, kids, and slaves are not considered citizens and are banned from participating in the government. The location I am at is the Assembly Body of Government. This body includes all citizens signed up to vote. The Assembly decides on new laws and important decisions like whether or not to go to war. In Greek government, the citizen votes on each individual law instead of electing representatives. Greece does not have representatives, but they are elected by a lottery. Everyone had a chance regardless of your popularity or wealth. The way Greeks vote is a little different than the way you may know. Greeks vote using pebbles, also known as sophos. Voters deposit a sophos into one or two urns. For the decision, when voting is over, the urns are emptied and counted. Whichever urn held the most sophos in the final decision follow up with the latest news to see what laws get elected and any other news you don't want to miss. After this news broadcast goes off, you will see pictures of the events spoken on today. So stick around for a few seconds more. Thank you for tuning in for Greek News. We hope you learned something new today, and we look forward to bringing you tomorrow's most updated news.